Surprise, everybody. It's a Wednesday night and we're doing PoliTarology. I just wanted to throw one out there, you know, Mercury retrograde and all that. And I just thought, what the hell? We'll do it on a Wednesday. So I have my sister, Cleo the Seer, with me, and your favorite astrologer, Kathy Biehl, my good friend. And we're just itching to do a whole bunch of political questions for you because we all love playing PoliTarology. I think that goes without saying. Don't you guys think? I mean, yeah, we're all doing it. Okay. So, Cleo, how are you? Say hello to the nice people. And
I'm good. Glad to be here. You know, if people see stuff going on that it looks like it's Colleen saying something in the chat section, it might be me because I'm going to try to field your questions. I'm an
thank you.
admin today. Yay! I took a
Thank
step
you.
up, an upgrade.
Yay. Thank you. And Kathy, how are you? And thank you for joining us.
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Good. This energy isn't getting to you?
Oh, it has, but I'm good now.
I know you look a little bit deer in the headlights there, but I think you'll get over it. So I'm sure during the broadcast, Kathy is going to enlighten us with a whole bunch of astrological knowledge. So I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, she also brought some questions. So I'm going to start us off by having her. Actually, I'm going to start us off by grabbing myself a deck of cards. And then if you could ask a question, we will start right in. And Cleo, if you're going to start questions, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, as soon as there is some. Let's see.
Okay. So everybody, if you could put your political questions in all caps in the chat, then Cleo's going to put them in the starred section and we'll pull from that. And in the meantime, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Kathy ask a question.
All right. These questions were put on a post on my post page on YouTube. Why did Pete Buttigieg step down from running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan? I got an idea about that.
Yeah, me too. But oh.
6 of Wands. He has something. 6 of. Oh yeah.
Is that what jumped out of your deck?
Mm-hmm.
This is what jumped out of my deck. The Fool. He is on a righteous quest. He's on a righteous quest. That's why he dropped out.
Yeah, really, he's a really smart guy, and he doesn't want to be pigeonholed right now. He doesn't want to be one way or the other. He's more concerned about what's going on right now rather than what's going on down the road. So, and he puts himself in a spot where he's the most useful. And you know, of a lot of the people that are out there, he is the most useful. You know, he gets what's going on. So he just wants to make himself available for right now. You know, actually the Senate thing, is that something that's coming up in 2026?
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Like that. He moved. He and his partner moved to, I think, Michigan, and that's where he's running or was running. He's not running anymore. So I think that he has bigger fish to fry. I think that he is up to his cute little patukas in all the junk that's going on behind the scenes having to do with the dumpster, the dumpy one. And I think he's really valuable, not only because he's just uber smart and he is very well spoken and he's a good spokesperson. He might be a key spokesperson for this kind of group that's going to be coming into being, but also he did naval intelligence, right? And also, I mean, he speaks many different languages. They're interacting right now with many, many different countries. He's just setting himself up to have like the most kick-ass resume ever to be Secretary of State and then in future maybe president. I mean, he's just creating like the best resume ever for those two positions. But I think that he has much bigger things to do in the very near future. So
I agree. He's in the bullpen.
Yeah.
He's in the bullpen.
Exactly. Exactamundo. Okay. So
all right. Will Susan Crawford, Wisconsin Senate, win April 1st election, or will there be election interference? I'm going to use my demon deck. I have a deck that is not available in the US. You can't find it online. It's German, and it shows if there's something nefarious, it finds it.
Good. Sounds right. Actually, that.
Actually, it looks like she will win. Wow, she will win. But at the base of it, there will be there'll be some trickery, but she'll win, is what it shows.
No, I get she's got a lot of support. A lot of support. Yeah, I kind of see that she's on the winning side of things also, but I'm not 100% clear on that. But yeah, she just got a lot of support. So there's a lot of people that want her to get it.
Yeah, I read on this the other night, and I got almost all major arcana, and I only threw out 5 cards. 4 of them are major arcana, but no, 6 cards, and 5 of them are major arcana. I got that she is going to win, but what I'm getting here right now is that there will be chicanery. It will be exposed, and ultimately she will take back. I mean, she's in the judge's seat now, so she will just retain her seat, but there will be a question about the election, either a recount, or they just have to expose the cheating, or maybe it actually looks like the other person wins and then they challenge it, but there's some kind of chicanery that goes on that has to be talked about. And when it is exposed, especially if it's the MAGA Republican side that tries to expose it, they are going to be so butthurt that they did that, because she gets the world and the sun. So what they see in that election looks an awful lot like a country like, I don't know, Romania.
Oh.
Looks an awful lot like it, and it ties it in. So, booyah. So go ahead, Republicans. Fight that election. Go ahead. It's going to bite you in the butt. That's what I say. And if Colleen says it, then you better be careful. Oh, God. Did everybody read? Or Kathy, did you say? Or did you already say?
Yes.
Okay.
I said,
all right.
Yeah. She'll win, but there's trickery at the base of it.
Okay. God, we're going so fast through these. I love it. Okay.
What about Jessica Aber? Was she murdered by the Russians? You did look at that the other night. I have read, and I can't find it, evidence of a substance being found in her that is poisonous if ingested.
Yeah, that's what I got too. Because what the reading that I did, it said, okay, now if she was investigating like Russia, then I'm going to say that this means that she was taken out and it was most likely poison. If she was not doing that, then I had something else. I can't remember all what I said. And then in the chat, I saw that people were saying, yeah, she was investigating Russia. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
then
she was.
was. So there you go. All right. Cleo, did you have anything to add to that?
No. Did you want to see some of the questions, the starred questions?
We've got 2 more from my list. We're blasting through these. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is Jack Smith safe?
Okay.
Okay, I've been looking into Jack Smith for the last month, and I believe he is safe. But he is definitely he's one of the biggest threats out there for the Trumpsters. So he's being cautious. I think some of these people are actually they're actually getting their own private people to, like, Secret Service people, but they're not Secret Service people. Protectors. What am I trying to think of? People that are going to take care of them. Security. There we go. Security. And he has been real cautious, but he knew this was coming up. He knew that Trump is going to go for him. And he probably also knows that Trump is pretty irritated that he stepped down before Trump could fire him or kick him out of there or whatever. He actually threatened to kick him out of the country. I mean, it was just completely ridiculous. But no, I think he is safe, but I think he is so knowledgeable. And, you know, there's eyes out there that are keeping track of him too, to help him. So that's what I think.
And so Libby of Meister Tarot this morning said that she had heard that he has actually come to New York. So my question about Jack Smith is, if he's in New York, why is he here?
Well, you know who's working in New York, do you?
Could it be
Doug
Alex
Emhoff
White?
is now working for a firm in New York.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Could be completely unconnected.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
Sure. It's unrelated. Sure. Yeah. Okay. And the fact that the UN is there has nothing to do with that.
And the fact that the ICC is here.
Yeah. Nothing to do with that. Okay. So what is Jackaroo doing in New York if he is in New York?
I got the same card for him that we got for Pete, the 6 of Wands. Also, he's with a lot of younger men. So I think he's got a staff is what this means.
Wow. Cool. I like your answer. Wow. That is cool. Yeah, I get yeah, he's here to finish the job. That's what I get. He is here to finish the job. He's well protected. He's a little bit angry that he had to leave the way he did, and so he's not the kind of person who's going to get angry like, I'm so mad I'm going to pound his face in. Like, not that kind of anger. He's just like, yeah, that was unjust that I could not finish what I was supposed to finish, and now that things are going down this way, well, I'll just be happy to finish what I started. So I think that's why he's here. Cleo, you got something?
Well, I just think that he's sharing a lot of information with behind the scenes with all the people that are looking into the election interference and looking into all kinds of things with the Trumpsters and the Trump administration, the Republicans, basically. But he is so knowledgeable and has, you know, he is definitely the one to go to if you're working with this and saying, you know what, we got to do something. I think Jack Smith is actually leading that, but maybe not. They're not looking at Jack like he's leading it, but because he's got so much information and he's got so much evidence of what has been going on. And so he can, you know, he is really a critical part of this. He's a big deal.
Yeah. And also think about how important he is, because he has been working in the same place where Mark Ruda lives. You know, he's right there in the same city. Think of all of the information and probably intel that he has about what has been going on in the European countries where they have uncovered chicanery, and just the discussions, you know, even in the ICC about what has gone on and all of these things. Because, yeah, I mean, he just has a wealth of information to share, not only about the dumpy, but also about this whole global.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, you're right. It's worldwide. It's not just our country.
Yeah.
I have some astrological stuff to throw in about him.
You go right ahead.
March 15th lunar eclipse was on his Pluto and his nodal axis. So he's wrapped up something. He's wrapped up something from this. Oh, and my necklace just
unwrapped.
So that's fascinating. Also, right now, as we're talking, there is a huge pile up of energy at the very end of Pisces. The North Node, he's had his nodal return. So the North Node, which is his path forward, is currently the current position of the North Node, where we are all headed collectively, is on top of his. And in the next week, Venus retrograde, which it has a lot to do with values and how we deal with each other, will cross over that spot. And then Mercury retrograde will cross over that spot, which is a gobbledygook for use out there, to say that a lot of stuff that's been percolating for quite some time is kind of like he's soaking it up, and it's getting ready for him to bring it forward. And the solar eclipse on the 29th is going to exactly ignite his Mars, which is his warrior planet. So I think he'll be one of the people who emerges from the fog that we're in. Maybe not next week, but soon.
Yeah. And I just want to point out to people listening that when a planet in retrograde moves over something in your chart, that's usually the second time it's moved over it. And then when it goes direct, it's going to move over it again. So he's had one pass, he's got the second pass, he's going to get a third pass. So that is kind of an arc of a journey that he's on. And it's got a theme to it, which is wherever that retrograde planet is hitting. So it's not over.
No. And I have a solar chart for him because we don't know his time of birth.
Yeah.
And all of this activity is in his most public, in his career house. And it's also for like his path of destiny for all of creation. So he's someone who's meant to do things that affects all of us. And that would fit with what Colleen and Cleo have been saying.
Yeah.
Thus ended the sermon.
Oh boy, so big. So did you have one more question, Kathy?
Yes, I did. And I've got some astrological stuff on this one.
Yay!
Is the signal chat the straw that breaks the back of the Trump administration and ends it? I think it sets a boulder in motion that starts to get more and more and more traction. And if I might, here are a few things I already said about it, and I'll try to collapse this. So the disclosure of the signal chat happened. Let me back up. The actual chat itself and the bombing happened on March 15th, which was a lunar eclipse in Virgo. This one splayed Trump. It hit his chart in a way that pulled him in all four directions. And at that time, Uranus, the most disruptive influence in the sky, moved on to his midheaven. I said this was the wrecking ball. The wrecking ball was going to hit for the third and final time that day that would start the utter collapse. So that happened on the 15th. The day we found out about it was an important day in the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is currently in the sign of Aries, which rules war, which rules, and Mercury rules things. It rules the reporter, it rules writing, it rules the chat, it rules things flying through the air. And Mercury fused with the sun, the administration, on the day this happened. So if you heard of the Mercury Cazimi, that was it. The day after this was revealed, Mercury retrograde had a handshake relationship with Pluto, which rules secrets, which rules big power, which rules money, which rules crimes. And it also made more revelations. And I could spend the next 5 minutes reading the things that came out yesterday. But I will say that the editor of The Atlantic, who was added, says that there was a person included in the chat whose identity he did not reveal, who was a female CIA agent. So the reason I bring this up is, here's some things I think we should watch for. Venus, which rules women, is going to retrograde back into Pisces and meet Neptune on March 27th. And I think it's possible a woman is sacrificed somehow for this. And we're all going, oh, please let it be Tulsi Gabbard. Well, something could happen to the female agent, which is why I brought her up. And then Mercury goes back into Pisces and meets with Neptune at the end. And Pisces can be, and both together can be victimizing or martyrdom. So someone may take the fall or a fall when that happens March 29. And then when when Mercury goes direct, it's going to go back to the degree it was when this disclosure made April 20th to 21st. So there are weeks of this story coming down. Now, there are many other aspects to it, but that's the long-winded astrological framework. It's got staying power, and there's a lot more to come from it, and it directly hits Trump, and it directly hits, we looked at his chart before we went live, Michael Waltz, who was the only person in that chat who had any intelligence background, special services background, and he's the person who added Goldberg to the chat.
Yeah, just unbelievably boneheaded to do that.
Exactly.
We never would have known how unsecure this whole meeting was had Jeff Goldberg not been there. You know, it just like, unbelievably boneheaded. And the fact that I don't know which person it was. I think his name was Dick. I want to say his name was Dick, was actually in Russia taking the call.
I heard that too. I heard that too. I believe
Tulsi Gabbard was out of the country as well. So
yeah,
these are,
but she didn't reveal even what country she was in. She was probably in Hungary or something, you know, like
well, the phones aren't secure. Russia could take any information off of it. Pentagon issued a directive not to use Signal. The fact that this is being done is also consistent with a directive in Project 2025 because the conversations disappear. So you have to wonder if on some level, Michael Waltz didn't do this to reveal. And also it has to have been going on more than just this. This can't be an isolated incident.
You know, and what Kathy said about the momentum of this, that this is like the little rock and it's just going to have momentum. Well, everybody that is in the Trump administration is unqualified. They don't know what the hell they're doing. So it is absolutely going to keep happening, more and more big mistakes. And also you see the mistakes that Musk made by fooling around with the computers. And we won't, you know, it'll probably be a while before we actually see what kind of computer errors he has made. You know, it just takes nothing when you don't know what the hell you're doing and you're fooling around in the background of a program. If you just accidentally delete a dot or a dash or something, you've screwed up the whole program. So I see Musk doing that, but also these other people, they don't know what they're doing. They're totally unqualified. That main guy that Trump put in,
Pete Hegseth.
That guy. I mean, he doesn't have a clue what the hell he's doing. And, you know, I just was amazed at how quickly they came back and blamed the reporter who had nothing to do with it. It just landed on his text. And I mean, you know, they are,
of course they're going to do that. Yeah,
they are so screwy how they're handling it. But will there be more? Yes, dozens and dozens, and just expect them to start rolling in very soon, you know, especially because everything's going so fast. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. So it's going to be crazy. But what they did with this texting thing, super, super dangerous. Just, you know, and what Trump is doing anyway is making the security of the country. He's just making us all vulnerable. Then it just gets so bad, and it just keeps going that way for a while. So yes, expect more weird, stupid things to happen.
Yeah,
but there are ramifications because there's even a Republican senator who is calling for investigations into this. I mean, this one's extreme, and I don't know. It starts. Someone is going to fall. Do you agree, Colleen? Someone is going to fall from this, and then that starts that
ball
starts
rolling.
the
Mhm.
rolls rolling.
Yeah. I thought when I did the reading on Monday, I thought it was going to be Mike Waltz, which would make the most sense to me because he is, like you said, the only one who had any sort of intelligence background. So of course, the person who had one iota of qualification, that's going to be the first person they let go because they want all people in there that don't know anything. And the fact that this was out of the Project 2025 playbook, I hadn't connected those dots. Yes, that absolutely makes sense that that's where they're going with this. So I think there will be so much of the dust forming as the boulder is rolling downhill that I think, yeah, somebody in that, probably Mike Waltz, is going to get caught up in that and lose their head and lose their, what's going on there. But as I've said about all of these big things, like the big reveals about how corrupt the voting was, how fraudulent the voting was, and how all the bad things that Trumpy has done, these are all just a piece of the pie. And it's when the pie really hits the wall with all of the pieces dripping down that it's really going to take things down. It's not going to be any one thing. It is going to be a coordinated effort among a very, very erudite and astute group of, I have to call it statesmen or statespeople, people who really know what should be going on in our government and are probably terrified about what is going on in our government,
Mhm.
that they are going to take the reins. But they're not going to do that until they're absolutely sure that they have a plan, a strategy in place to do it effectively, to really take it out by the root and not allow anything to remain. And that's why you're not seeing that's why you didn't see anything on January 21st or the 29th or February 15th or the first lunar eclipse and then the solar eclipse. You're not going to see things right on those days, but you are going to see this buildup of evidence, the buildup of anger, the buildup of emotion and desire to make it happen. And all of that's going to coalesce and really make it happen. So
I do have one more
that came up with Goldberg purposely being added in order to out the organization. Do you guys have any feeling about that?
He might have unconsciously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows? But
yeah, he does have intelligence background. It could be that he was just frightened for what was happening, but it's too late. They have already been doing this. So they have
Right.
already endangered so many people, not just the plans for the Yemen attack, but the plans, not just the plans, but for people on the ground, for our own operatives on the ground. They are in danger. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's just like the documents case. It's just like the documents case, that with that information going out into literally enemy hands means that people are going to die. What was her name? Jessica Aber died.
So I have something growing out of this, a couple of points. The first one is this particular drama, this particular scandal directly brings the military in and directly threatens the military, which will be part of what ends up. And with the different aspects going on at the end of March and the fact that we have a solar eclipse in Aries, also Mars ruled, there's, people were a little concerned that there would be some kind of military action. Well, this is expressing it, and this is giving the military some big incentive to do something because their own people are now at danger. And my representative, who's on the Armed Forces Committee and is a former Navy helicopter pilot, is just spitting nails with fury. I've never seen her so angry over Mikey Sherrill, right? So, but the other aspect of this is JD Vance dissed Europe in the chat, and they're acting like the C students in college, the frat boys. What country is going to share intelligence with us if this is what's happened. So this speeds up the urgency of doing something about this, because we're being, from the military's perspective, again, because we're being cut off from anything normal that could help us. We're pissing our allies off. We're showing them, don't get near us. We'll hurt you if you get anywhere near us. And I persist that in my insistence that European countries have every incentive to save their own butts and spill whatever they know. And we know they know things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they stopped with Five Eyes. I think they stopped, contributing to that on like January 25th. They just kind of went, what? He's doing what? Okay. They don't get to hear any more of this stuff. And that is very detrimental to our safety, to not have those intelligence bits of data coming back towards us.
There is a lot of intelligence coming in, and it's not through the Trump administration. So it's
Right.
behind the scenes and stuff we can't possibly know. But don't think that the other countries, because they see what's happening in the United States, they know it's totally wrong. They know that Trump is out to just destroy us. And they don't want us to be destroyed. There's
No.
other countries that liked us just the way we were. They liked our democracy. They know what Trump is doing, and they are in contact with. I'm not sure. Certain groups of people that are working behind the scenes is all I know.
Yeah. And there's quite a few people here in the chat that had questions about that particular issue. And so I hope we've pretty much answered those. There will not, nobody is going to pull Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump and Michael Waltz. Nobody's going to pull them handcuff across the White House lawn and throw them in jail. That is
No.
not going to happen, any of them. At the most, maybe Michael Waltz will lose his job. But you can be sure that Congress is going to do a full-blown investigation on this.
And you can be sure that Trump doesn't give a shit.
He
doesn't
doesn't give
care what Congress does.
Does not give a shit. And he probably will try to threaten those who are on whatever committee is doing investigation.
Yes.
He'll be threatening all the people who vote or don't vote to have it happen. I mean, he'll just go just balls out with his threats. That's what he's going to do. I mean, that's what he's been doing. But I think that, another thing that's really pissing him off is Bernie and AOC hitting the trail and getting bigger numbers in their rallies than he got in the last 2 years.
I love what Bernie Sanders is doing. I mean, getting like in Colorado, he had like 34,000 people attended, and then another place he's like 20,000. And I mean,
one of them, didn't he have more like 80,000? One of them?
Maybe I haven't kept up on every single rally that he's been doing.
You gotta know that Bernie and AOC have big fat targets on their backs, on their heads, on their temples. Like they're just walking targets for everything. And I think they feel like that's just part of the game. That's just what they have to do now.
Well, Bernie has been talking about this, the oligarch and the kind of things that are happening right now. He's been trying to warn us for years, going back to the 90s. And so, he's not afraid of them. He is going to say what he damn well wants to. And he's just being totally transparent, telling us the truth. So, and he's really, I think he's going to really make a difference. But, yeah.
How old is I'm looking at
he's 80.
He's in his 80s. He's about to have his Uranus return.
That's what I was thinking. He doesn't give a shit about anybody's opinion or anything with that Uranus return coming up. That's good. How come I don't have his chart? What's wrong with me? Okay, that's another thing for another day. Yeah, that's the question that I was just looking at, Cleo. Thank you. So are Kamala and Biden still playing a part behind the scenes in the takedown of Trump and his administration? If so, what? Okay, nobody knows if so what. Nobody knows that. We don't know how involved they are individually. I would say Kamala probably not involved in that aspect whatsoever. Biden, sitting in the background, the elder statesman saying, yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, you do that. I, I don't think he's sitting around discussing strategy at a table with people every day. I think he discussed that up front. And then he has a lot of people who are executing the encyclopedic plan that he kind of just spewed off the top of his head, which was probably perfect because he's a Scorpio. He knows how to do things behind the scenes. He's been doing this for the last half century. And he's very, very, very smart and very, very knowledgeable about foreign relations. So
there's a Queen of Pentacles involved.
Yes,
isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? That's the card that came up. There's a Queen of Pentacles involved.
Now, before the inauguration, that Queen of Pentacles would have been Avril Haines.
Mm-hmm.
It could still be her because her report was very, very instructive and important. So,
cause for celebration, public celebration involving the Queen of Pentacles.
Absolutely.
I may be taking a little bit of a different stance than you, Colleen. I think that both Kamala and Joe are totally involved in what's going on. They're maybe not, setting up the play of how things are going to go down, but I think that they are totally. Everybody that knows what the hell they're doing and is not a Trumpster is really concerned about what Trump is doing. And they see that he's doing it very fast and he's getting away with it and he's manipulating the Supreme Court. However, I do see some changes happening with the Supreme Court. But as far as Kamala and Biden, yes, I think they both know. I think they knew what to expect before Trump ever stepped into in January, before he ever did that. But there was nothing they could do about it. In the meantime, right now, I think they're watching it. I think that they might be some of the people that people outside the country are getting a hold of, because they can't get a hold of outwardly to anybody else, because they've got information. So I think that when they get that information, it goes to somewhere. I think it's totally secret, and we had talked about that maybe they're all the past presidents and other people are totally involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so, because this is how critical it is. This is what a big deal it is, but it is it does encompass a world thing. So it's not something we can just fix in the United States.
No, and I agree. They're still involved, but I think Kamala has a target on her back bigger than the whole United States. So I think she has to be extremely careful. And so that's one reason I think it's very unsafe for her to be too involved.
Oh, I'm not saying it's safe.
And
no.
And
Trump took away all their security, took away all their, Secret Service.
Right. But I'm sure that she knows that things are going on, but on a day-to-day basis, I think it's not safe for her to know everything. And I already told you what I thought about Biden. I do think they're thoroughly involved. Do you want to hear my list of people that I think are going to be involved in the whole big thing?
Yeah. Real quick, before you do that, there has been speculation that there's a face behind me, so I turned off the blur. There is not a face, but that's a New Yorker cartoon, a New Yorker cover parody involving the Marx Brothers. There's not a face behind me. Okay, these are these are angels. No.
We believe you. We believe you. Everybody be really nice to Kathy so she doesn't get violent. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I saw a lot of commentary about it. I thought, let's not distract people. There is not an Islamic face behind me. Okay. It's just
No,
not.
nobody's there behind you. Okay, so these, and there was somebody that came across my mind just the other day, and I wanted to put him on the list, and I can't remember who it is. Maybe it'll come to me now. Okay, so I do think that there'll be presidents and past vice presidents like Biden, Harris, Pence, Obama, Dick Cheney, G.W. Bush, maybe if they're healthy enough to do it. Al Gore, if he's healthy enough to do it. Past secretaries of state or people of high public visibility like Hillary Clinton, Antony Blinken, John Kerry, Condoleezza Rice. Other notables who held esteemed positions like Susan Rice, Ron Klain, Jeff Zients, Jack Lew. Those are past chiefs of staff. AGs like Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, past federal prosecutors, past FBI officials, past FBI agents, past CIA officials, past military, all the generals that are great, like Milley and all those guys. Current political figures like Pete Buttigieg, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, David Hogg, Karine Jean-Pierre, Jen Psaki, Josh Ernst, Jay Carney, senators, representatives, and governors like Beto O'Rourke, Andy Beshear, Gavin Newsom, Wes Moore, Chris Murphy, Jared Paulus, J.B. Pritzker, Josh Shapiro, Raphael Warnock, Gretchen Whitmer, Cory Booker, Ro Khanna, Richie Torres, Jason Kent. Now, these last few names are people that I got are rising stars of the Democratic Party. There's 2 Republicans in here. Richie Torres, Jason Kander, Ben Sass, Connor Lamb, Will Hurd, who is a Republican, Mia Love, who is a Republican, Nanette Berrigan, Eric Garcetti, and Mitch Landrieu. That's like 40, 50 people that are just prominent in the news, thinking about it. Now, I did not mention people like Jamie Raskin or Adam Schiff or, some of those people in Congress. And I realized after I made this list, they're not only are they going to stay in Congress, but after they arrest like half of Congress for all this nonsense and shenanigans, they got to have those people stay there. It's going to be like that show, what's the show about the presidential survivor? I can't think of the exact title, but it had Survivor in it. And that poor guy, there was like 1 guy in Congress left, or 3 people in Congress. And I used to make a joke, like when Trump was still in the office, and I thought that they would just like wipe out all of Congress because they were so corrupt, that there would be like 3 people looking around and saying, "Hey, you want to be vice president? You want to be Speaker of the House? Okay, well, one of us can be Vice President, one of us can be Speaker of the House." Like, there's just not going to be very many heads left. They're just gonna go that way. All right, so that's my list. So what's this, Melissa Lobo?
I wanted to read on this because this thing in Pennsylvania, and this Democrat that is now senator. I did see that, but I am just thinking this shift, there's a couple of different elections coming up in the next month.
Yes, in Florida.
And Florida. And so when all these, I'm not sure if it meets the, if we get enough senators that are Democrats or enough House people that are Democrats, but I think it does kind of get real tight where there's just maybe 1 or 2 away from each other.
Yeah, that's what it does.
That will make a big difference, and I hope that happens. So, that's the district was totally Republican since 1889, and people are not stupid. They see what's going on. They're like, "Oh, hell no, we're going to get some Democrats in there." Sorry, Kathy, go ahead.
No, I was interrupting you. I have read commentary that this election result is a sign that something was fishy in the last one, because the votes are so far toward the Democratic candidate that it seems kind of out of left field to have suddenly jumped that way.
Yeah.
Well, the intimation being this is part of the indication that there was manipulation in the most recent election.
Well, and there have been so many people looking into the election interference, unfortunately, and then they're getting closer all the time. But unfortunately, it's going to take a while because it's massive, and it takes money and a lot of people to do this. So although I believe personally that, of course, the election was interfered with, that things were manipulated, that it's all wrong, you know, that we have an illegitimate president. But that doesn't matter. I mean, they're trying to give us all the facts, and they're coming out more and more positively about what the outcome will be, but they're being very careful about not just coming right out and saying it. And they can't, they have to get every single thing and all these facts and numbers put together so that they don't want to screw up. But it's going to take more time. That's what I'm saying. It's going to take a lot.
Uh-oh, we got a frozen Cleo.
Uh-oh.
Cleo sickles on sale in aisle 9. Kmart shoppers, just find your way down there and pick yourself up a Cleo sickle. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The information about the fraud in each of the states is going to be very hard to ferret out and figure out. But there's only 7 swing states, so it's not like they have to do this in every state. They have 7. In Arizona, you're back. Arizona's done a great job of looking into this. Pennsylvania's done a great job of looking into this. North Carolina and Wisconsin has done a great job. I think, is Michigan one of them? I don't remember what all the swing states are, but there's only 7. There's only 7. And I'm sure that they have been hard at work doing all this work the whole time since November 5th. I did a quick little throw of 3 cards about the whole Pennsylvania thing. And I do think it is going to be kind of a bellwether for the other states. And it's funny, didn't Arizona already come out with all of their results that they figured out that it was tampered with and it was bad? And wasn't it Nevada also?
There's a county in Nevada, Clark County, Nevada.
Yeah, and they came out. I heard nothing from Georgia, but North Carolina we've heard from, and Pennsylvania. So there's like 4 states that have already kind of taken the bull by the horns on this issue. And that might be enough, because those states that have already done this, you know, their combined electoral college votes may equal, oops, you're not president anymore. So, you know, I think that's already kind of happened. So.
But are they actually finding the numbers? Are they actually getting the figures in the balance? Because my feeling was a lot of stuff has been destroyed. So
well, it depends on who you talk to, but I think it's going to be compelling enough and legal enough that they're going to kind of say, hey, I think we kind of have to throw out that election, which is why this panel of interim government is going to have such a tough job, because what do you do with that information? Okay, so everything was cheated on. Do we now just say, okay, you get it, Kamala? That kind of feels like they're crowning her queen after we told Donald Trump he could not be king. So they have to figure out a way to bring this back to a democratic process. Right. So that's something they have to do. What's another question that we have here? These are good. What is going to happen with the EO Dumpy sign today about changing rules for us voting, especially when Florida votes for the House April 1st?
It will be enjoyed like every other EO that he has signed.
Yeah.
Very quickly enjoined, by the way.
Yeah, ditto.
Don't even need to pull a card.
No. What do you think, Cleo? You agree?
I'm busy doing questions.
Okay, you agree. Okay. Put up another question for us.
Okay.
Do you think any monies collected, Trump and Eloise will steal monies and hide in untraceable overseas? They won't hide it in untraceable overseas. They will hide it somehow with crypto.
Mm-hmm.
They won't hide it. There won't be any greenbacks. There won't be any goldbacks. Nothing tangible will be exchanged. But how long is Elon going to be able to play this shell game that he's playing? That's what I want to know. And that's
there's sure a lot of questions about Musk and all the people, you know, the stuff going on with his cars, with the Tesla cars. I mean, in Seattle, Washington, I mean, people are blowing cars up. They're burning them. They're putting swastikas on them. And it's just really, it's really hard on the people that own the cars, especially those big cyber trucks or whatever.
They've all been recalled. All of the Cybertrucks have been recalled because the panels fall off. All of them have been recalled. What I want to know is which is going to be the first country that goes after Musk?
Okay, let's read on that.
Which one would be the first country? It won't be the US.
And
Who
how do
in
we
Europe
tell?
is
How do we tell?
Well, because I'm trying to remember which country is it that has the biggest Tesla plants? Is that
China.
China? Okay, well, there you go. That'll be it.
No. There's going to be a European country that goes after him for messing with their election.
Oh, you're talking about the elections, not the cars.
Yeah. Which country is going to go after him first criminally? Will it be France? Will it be Germany?
I'm thinking
Yep.
Germany. I've always thought that
It
Germany
is across the sea. I'll tell that. I'll tell you that.
Romania. I'll see if it's going to be Romania. You guys do Germany and France, and you come up with what you think.
Germany already has a lot of data on him. France is still collecting. I think they're both going to. Germany's closer to it than France is.
Romania.
Yes.
Romania. I got
Look
the
at
Ace of Pentacles. See, I thought Romania right away when you started talking, because they were the first ones that came out with all the garbage about their, aren't they? Isn't that the country where they just threw out the election because it was so obvious it was stolen?
Yeah, he went in 2 weeks before, and then the Putin-backed candidate came out of nowhere to tying.
But Romania is a small country. So if Romania does a suit first, and then Germany and France probably will piggyback on top of that, so that it is an international thing. Ding, 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 ding. Are we hearing Interpol, ICC, the European Union, NATO? I mean, I'm hearing, like big European coalitions going, hey, buddy, you can't do this. You're a threat to everybody's security by doing this. So, I think somebody's going to come after him. So now I'm going to go back to how long.
I get May.
May, okay.
Yeah, I have the 4 of Wands in May.
That sounds right.
I'm trying to keep up. Sorry.
I know it's a lot of work looking at that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, trying to read this and then also getting the input I'm getting, downloads I'm getting, and then what you guys are talking about. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, Roxana Tuff has a question we should look at. Do you see it, Cleo?
Okay.
Where's the question at?
At the very bottom of the chat.
Okay.
About Greenland.
This one?
Nope, right below it.
Here, I'll do it. I see it right now. I'll just put it up.
Okay.
What do you think is the real reason that Shady Vance went to Greenland? to get away from everybody booing him in the United States.
Well, because of the nonsense with the chat, because he was
on it.
Well, and I think they're being so
he's having a pissy fit, not a hissy
well,
fit.
what they're doing to Greenland is just outrageous. I mean, it's just craziness that that they would even keep doing it. And Trump is convinced he's got to have Greenland. So it's going to get worse. And if he dares try to do some kind of military intervention, hopefully he'll be out of office before he has a chance to do that. But yeah, he wants to go for it and claims, well, I'd really like to know what he's really doing. He claims that he needs it for the security of our country, but
you know who gave him the idea. You know who gave him the idea.
Who?
Oh, come on.
Musk?
No, good Lord. Where is it? It's up near the Bering Sea.
His
Russian friends. My Russian friends.
Excuse me.
До свидания. Polonian tea. Stay away from my window.
But I don't think he really wants it because he thinks that it'll be good for the country. I think maybe he wants the minerals and he wants the whatever he can get out of that country. I don't know. I mean, it's just craziness that he's doing that, because already we've always had troops
Yeah, but
up
now
there.
you're confusing me because I thought we were reading about Shady going to Greenland.
Yes.
Oh, you're well.
So you're confusing me with all this other stuff. So I'm not sure that if my cards are telling me what I was supposed to see.
Oh, okay. Well, shut up.
Okay. So, well, yeah, he is kind of leaving the United States because it's really tough here. I got the 9 of Swords. I love this card. You see, look at that, a spirit in red right behind him, above in his bed, haunting him. That's him in bed, really worried, and he's got the 7 of Pentacles. This guy cannot wait for the dumpster to die. Just like counting the minutes until the dumpster is out of here. But he sees the thing in Greenland as a new love, a new project, a new way to prove himself, a new way to get friends. Good luck, Sparky. I don't think you're making any friends there.
No.
And then we get the Queen of Pentacles again. So I don't know if that's the person who's stopping him. I don't know if that's, I think that might be his wife. I think she's a Capricorn. So I think they thought sending her there would kind of soften the ground for him. And then he gets the 6 of Pentacles. So I think now all of these other reasons are kind of superficial, but maybe it is really close to Ruski land. So maybe he went to go pick up a little package from our friend Putin.
Well, what Shady canceled everything related to Greenland? I'm not so sure. But he just said
not
today
quite.
that he was.
You know, they put things out in the news to confuse. They say they're doing it, and then they say they're not doing it. They say that Elon Musk is running Doge, and then they say he's not running Doge. They say they're having talks for peace with Ukraine, and Ukraine's not there. And then they say Ukraine is there. And then they have another meeting in the same country and say that Ukraine's going to go there, but the Russians aren't going to go there. I mean, they say so many things that are so confusing. So I don't know. It's really hard to tell what's really happening out there.
Oh, they're
So-
changing their plans. Wait a minute. They are changing their plans. They've
Okay.
changed their itinerary, and it reduces the likelihood that they'll cross paths with angry residents. They're going to visit the U.S. Space Force outpost on the Northwest coast instead of Usha Vance's previously announced solo trip to the dog sled race.
Where's the Space Force thing? Is that at sea or is that in Greenland?
It's in Greenland, but it's on the Northwest coast instead of this populated area where the dog race is going to be.
Does it have a port where a big boat can pull up from Russia?
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm sticking with my reading that he's picking up or dropping off. He's doing DoorDash for Putin, basically. Because now that's the way he's going to get back into Dumpy's good graces. He has 2 strikes against him. He has that fight with Zelensky, which didn't come off the way they thought it would. And then he was on the signal call. So whether or not Dumpy is calling him on the carpet for either one of those, he feels, because he's got, like every guilt and shamed kind of, adolescent male that has not grown out of his daddy issues, they all feel like they still have to prove themselves to daddy. And so he's going to do what daddy wants him to do. Daddy wants him to go pick up something from a big, scary Russian leader. Well, it won't be the big, scary Russian leader. It'll be somebody handing it off to him or dropping something off. But I think that's what's happening. Yeah, we know that. We know that. Canceled the dog sled. Yeah, she just said that and sticking to the military bases only. Okay.
And why? Why is that necessary? Only for what Colleen is saying.
Yeah. Call me crazy, but you know what? I thought I knew that something was hinky with the dumpster back in the late 80s when he actually did sign up with the Ruskies. We knew this. I lived in New York. We saw headlines every day about some wacky ass thing that he was doing, like buying land in Atlantic City and building the biggest, most gaudiest casino this side of Las Vegas, and then letting it go bankrupt. I mean, what an idiot. What an idiot. He had been already bankrupt 4 or 5 times before he did that one. I mean, I was just like, who would ever get, and I kept saying then, who would ever give this man money to keep doing what he's doing? We didn't know at that time. They weren't advertising that they were getting it from Russian banks at that point. I think the last deal that he got where he got American money in was when he bought the Hilton at Grand Central and turned that into whatever he turned it into. And I realize now that I loved eating at the restaurant there and that the bar was called, wait for it, drum roll please, Trumpets. Guy doesn't have an original idea in his head. Anyway, okay, what were we reading on? Okay.
Oh, we finished the question. We're at an hour. Do we have more, or do we need to wrap up?
Let's just look down through these things. Are
you looking at the starred questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any in mind that are really important?
Well,
I mean, they're all important, but I think in the main we have answered a lot of them because we've gone all around the circle there.
Yeah, we have. We've already, it's some
Oh,
at some level.
okay. All right. So, just to kind of recap, folks, the big good people that we love are still working on eliminating this orange menace from power. All his little baby, we'll call them clementines, are all around him, they'll all be cleaned up with the mess when this all happens. But it's a big mess to clean up, and it's going to take some really, really strategic maneuvering by some very, very smart people and the military to clean this up. And I think they're on it. So we're not going to know the details. We're not going to be able to give you specifics and details. Timing, I think we've probably, because Kathy's astrology is so spot on, we're probably one of the few people that can get somewhat close to any kind of a timeline. But even there, we're saying, it's not going to happen. It's not like a basketball game, okay? Nobody's going to just throw a free throw and win the game. That's not happening.
Right.
It is
I would say it's already started, though, and that what we've seen this week is evidence of where it's heading.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd say we got, 8 people lined up for free throws at this point. To carry my analogy a little bit further, I'd say we do. And if one of them is Jack Smith, he is a slam dunk every time. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I think we covered a lot of stuff. And I think we had a lot of people here interested in what we were talking about. And Cleo, thank you so much for running interference for us in the comments section. That was very, very helpful. And it was nice that you could do a couple of readings too. I'm sorry. It is a lot of work. It's hard. It's hard to do.
Well, it's something that I kind of want to learn to do. So I'm glad you let me do it today.
Okay, great. And Kathy, thank you for your wealth of knowledge and
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to bat these things back and forth. And yeah, so this was a hoot. And the hour went like that. I mean, I remember looking up and seeing that 7 minutes in, we had already done like 3 questions. And I thought, oh, geez, how are we going to fill up the time? And then I turned around and it was at 50. And I was like, wait, was there a time shift that I missed?
But you and Kathy, the way you guys can go back and forth with the astrology and stuff, it's really cool. That's why I kind of just sat back and was totally entertained by what you guys were coming up with, because I don't do that. I'm not a tarot or an astrologer reader. I just don't, I don't know astrology very well. So to have you two together like that's very cool. I loved it.
Oh, great. Thank you. Well, I hope the whole world felt like that too.
I'm sure they did. They always agree with me.
Of course. Of course.
And we wore our hair differently so you could tell us apart.
Yes, yes, we did. We did. And so you're welcome, everybody. So now you know which one is which. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for bringing us your questions. Kathy, thank you for bringing all of your stuff. Cleo, thank you for fielding all the questions. And with that, I'm going to say, see you later. And I'm going to be on next on Sunday. Actually, I'm going to be on at 2:00 Eastern. And so, Cleo, if you're free, I'd love for you to bat for me backstage. That would be great.
Perfect. And I will be on tomorrow with the Golden Girls, which is also political. So I hope some people will show up to that too.
And where are you going to be, Kathy?
Well, two things. Cosmic Owl, Astrology, and I will have yet another video out. We don't do lives on Friday afternoon. And then Friday evening, I am talking about the divine masculine and feminine and how they work together in the tarot, in astrology, in our own charts for the School of Magic and Mastery. And it's free. And there's a community post. There's a post on my YouTube page, Professional Aquarian, that has information about it. So if you want to hang out with some interesting witchy people Friday night, again, it's free. So
great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, take care. Thanks for playing my favorite game, PoliTarology. See ya.
Bye-bye.